I was asked to comment on common documentation flaws that would keep me from getting paid for hospital services. The, the first one that comes to mind is having an order from a physician. Technically, we're not to provide services to a patient unless we have a script, a specific order for patient services. Most insurance companies won't pay us unless we have that documentation in place. We rely on the doctor's office to either give it to the patient and carry it in so that the patient can carry it in, or we rely on the physician's office to send us the script so that we know patient John Jones is coming in and what he needs to have done. If we perform a service that's not on the script, we're likely not to get paid for it. Okay. Another thing that will delay or prohibit us from getting payment is pre-authorization. We have insurers that say a patient is not authorized to just get a physician order and go get a CT scan or an MRI. They need to instead have the insurance company verify that that's appropriate. Elective surgery is also a common one. The insurance company needs to approve elective surgery before they will pay for it. So if they don't approve it, we don't get paid. So we're very careful about that type of stuff. On rare occasions, a physician will provide an order, but he's not a participating member of the insurance company that the patient has. Technically, the patient would have to pay that if it's not an approved service, but we also have an obligation to tell them that, hey, if you want to have this done, you're going to pay it yourself. Okay, so that's one of the things. Another comment you asked about, what legislation drives reimbursement? This is very important to us. It's a big part of the budget cycle for us and the state and federal government, and that is this. Our agreements with Medicare and Medicaid provide for an annual inflation rate. So in other words, if medical inflation is up 4%, in theory, I would get a 4% increase for Medicare, and I'd get a 4% increase for Medicaid. In practice, because of the budget crunch on the federal government side and the state side, they might say, well, we're going to give you inflation minus 1%, minus 1.5%, and therefore that'll affect our reimbursement for the coming year. Of course, all of our employees would like to see a raise. All of our suppliers would like to have a price increase. If we don't get a revenue increase, that affects us. So we're always keenly aware of those things. That's the most common thing. What are they going to do to our rates from the Medicare and Medicaid side? From the commercial insurance or third-party payer side, those are all negotiated contracts. Because their volume is not as high as Medicare and Medicaid, which by the way make up about 65% of my revenues, I can more readily risk saying to the insurance company, well, I need these kind of rates or I can't deal with you. I don't have that option with Medicare or Medicaid. That I'm at the mercy of state and federal legislators in that kind of situation. Okay. It was asked if I'm seeing anything coming down the pike. In October 1st exactly, our Medicare rates are in effect. We have rates in place that offer an inflation rate minus a certain factor. The elections of the new president and the party affiliations we expect that that'll affect how Medicare reimbursement changes in the next 4 to 8 years, depending on how long they're around. So that'll affect us. And also Governor Patterson of New York has indicated to us that the New York State budget is hurting and that they expect changes in reimbursement to us that'll take effect on the state fiscal year, which begins April 1st.